Sabah al Khair, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. This is, of course, much better in person, but we will make do with the virtual format. And really, this is an opportunity for you as parents to get a chance to ask some questions and interface with some members of the school SLT. I'm joined by Dr. Mohammed, the Arabic director, who I know has also had separate meetings with the community. But generally, this is a chance for us to present a few pieces of feedback to you, but more importantly, hear some feedback on your end for our consideration. So I just wanted to share some format for today's discussion. And right now, it appears that we have a small enough size to have a good discussion, but should the room become a little bit larger with more participants, can we just make sure that we're sticking to, one question that you really want to ask me or Dr. Mohammed or anyone else that joins from the SLT, and you really limit your talk time to no more than 45 seconds to a minute. Again, that's only if the room gets large. The other thing that I would ask is that at the top of the screen, you'll notice that you can raise your hand. If you raise your hand when you want to answer a question, that way we can call on you and have a bit more orderly interaction in the group. Of course, if you have more than one question or multiple questions, please, I encourage you to type your question into the chat box. By doing so, we'll be able to take a look at it and do a FAQ at the end of today's coffee session. And then finally, we just ask that when a speaker is speaking, that we give the speaker the floor and we do not interrupt them, and allow them the space to share their thoughts or their questioning. So without any further ado, I would like to present to you a couple feedback points from our recent parent survey. Dr. Mohammed, did you have anything that you wanted to add in there to the group?
صباح الخير للجميع وأرحب بكم في هذا اللقاء الافتراضي. طبعا فقط لأذكر بما قاله دكتور جوزيف about هذا الاجتماع، وبناء على العدد يعني ربما لم يكون العدد كبيرا، ولكن نذكركم بأن تسألوا سؤالا واحدا، أن يكون السؤال لمدة 45 ثانية. إن كان هناك أسئلة خاصة بمعلم أو بموضوع محدد يرجى أن يتم التواصل معنا في هذا الخصوص. يمكنكم رفع الأيدي أيضا كما قال الدكتور جوزيف، واستخدام الشات بوكس صندوق المحادثة، وعندما يتحدث شخص يعني جميعا نستمع له. نرحب بكم مرة أخرى في هذا اللقاء الافتراضي.
Thank you. So the first thing that I wanted to do is provide you some of the results from our recent parent survey that was distributed last week. So as you'll see on the screen, this first slide is the feedback from the questions related to the quality of education. So you'll see that we had about over 150 survey respondents, and on that survey, we saw that 80% or more were very satisfied with the quality of education. We saw that parents were satisfied or very satisfied with their teacher motivating and encouraging them. So these are very positive developments with the education quality. Certainly, we will be looking carefully at any comments that were left that were, neutral or dissatisfied, and doing our best to make sure that we're responsive to those. The next set of questions was pertaining to leadership. And so on leadership, again, the community, it was like 89% satisfied or very satisfied with the school leadership at El Barsha, and in terms of how aware the community is of the broader leadership team, that still was over 80% satisfied, very satisfied. But I will note that events like this are, opportunities. Our next coffee morning will certainly include our head of elementary and perhaps other key leaders. Moving along, I'd say this is an area for the school to consider related to services. So we see that with the food service provider, parents may have selected neutral because they may or may not use the food service provider, but nevertheless, the satisfied and very satisfied is lower than we would have hoped. So we'll be working carefully to understand what those feedback and comments were to make sure that we're improving that service. The pickup and drop off of traffic management was polled very high, satisfied, very satisfied. Again, now that our buses are running and we've settled, that is working much more smoothly. And then the bus service itself, given the rocky start and the switch of providers that we had, seemingly this is also polled very well. And I'm sorry I'm going quickly. I just want to make sure that you have more time to talk than I. And then finally, level of communication is also very satisfied or satisfied with the overwhelming majority. And the communication from homeroom teachers likewise is polling very, very positively with very satisfied and satisfied. The final thing that I want to leave here, and the reason that I've shown you some of that feedback is because your questions may pertain to those areas. I wanted to make sure that you had access to the feedback. The thing that we are very excited about is that we will be launching our Dubai Schools Parents Association. So you'll see the vision, mission, and objectives of this association. By the time we return from the half-term break, we will be sharing a guide that informs you how to get involved. There will be 5 council seats that parents will have to, provide an application for, and then ultimately have the community vote on. And anyone that wants to participate beyond that, we will have committee work and opportunities for participation at the meetings. So I know that I've just presented a lot of information, but I'm going to go ahead now and just really turn it over to the audience. And again, if you wish to ask a question, I encourage you to raise your hand and we can start our discussion. Thank you so much. So if there are any questions, and I can also go back to any of the presented slides on communication, service, leadership, or education quality. Maybe Dr. Mohammed, you want to say that with those themes, we're able to revisit those based around questions and of course the Parents Association.
نعم، إن كان هناك أي سؤال حول أي من هذه الموضوعات التي تم تناولها في العرض التقديمي حول الباصات أو خدمة النقل وما إلى ذلك، طبعا هذه النقاط سيتم إعادة النظر فيها من جديد، خصوصا النقاط التي لم تحصل على الخدمة أو على الرضا الكبير الذي كنا نتأمله. أعتقد هناك بعض الأسئلة. سيدة شمة، يمكن أن تبدأ بالسؤال. There's a question from Ms. Shamma. I think she can start. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum.
Good
morning.
Morning.
Yeah, I have a question regarding the after-school activity that was announced lately. I would like if you could consider having different dates, because the days are not suitable to my working schedule. Maybe other parents have the same problems, I'm not sure. And I was wondering when we are going to kick in the swimming activities, because my kids are more keen to that. Also, I have other questions if you allow me, please. It's regarding the food services, which we had very, as I saw in the slides, are very low rated. I have a concern regarding the food, which is not to the taste of the kids. I'm not sure how the other kids are perceiving it, but I'm enrolled in 2 months, and I was not happy with the food that the kids sometimes bring home. That's why I'm considering not to be enrolled next month. That's a concern.
All right, thank you. So you've bundled 3 questions into one, so we'll quickly address those. Relating to the after-school activities, of course, we plan those around timings of the day. In the future, we're looking at condensing them to all take place during the school day on a Thursday in combination with other, academic and enrichment opportunities. To be honest, if we were organizing ECAs based on timing preferences of the whole community, it would be impossible to meet everybody's needs. But certainly we're reviewing what that will look like on a Thursday. Your question related to swimming, we currently are making sure that we have the right protocols in place, not only for the normal health and safety requirements, but also with COVID-19 requirements. And so we're just finalizing what that procedure looks like. And that's not just for Dubai schools, it's for all Talim schools. And so we are hopeful that swimming will happen definitely within the first month of returning from the break. And then finally, yes, we see that the data indicates a lower satisfaction rate with the food service provider. We're carefully studying what the specifics are. We understand that we're going to have a higher level action plan that addresses the food service. So we'll have to do some deeper digging to understand the root cause of the dissatisfaction. So we certainly will be working on that. Next question, please. Sorry, because I'm in present mode, so I can't really see who's raising hand. So maybe Mohammed or Sarah could help us. And I'm happy that our head of elementary, Miss Sarah, has joined us. Just let her say hello real quick, and then maybe Mohammed, you can call on the next parent.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm so sorry for my delay. We announced our student council this morning, and it was a very, very big moment for all of our kiddos. So we introduced our new president. We're going to be sending that out on our social media, and all of the students who were selected will be announced and told. They know right now, and they're very excited. And everyone who participated will get a certificate for just all their hard work. We have a committee for student council, and we sat through so many amazing videos, and we know that support comes from home. You guys were so invested with it, and we really appreciate it, because the quality of videos that were produced with the parents and students' input was just beautiful. I really enjoyed it. I really appreciate everyone who participated. So it's a really exciting time for Dubai School Student Council.
Okay, next question, please. Is that
Liliana?
Yes, thank you.
Hi, hello, good morning. Sorry, I had to drop off for a minute. So if the questions were already answered, please just let me know. And if I have time, I would like to do 3 questions. So one is, when will the kids from KG1 start having swimming lessons and the extracurricular activities? So these are the 2 questions. And also from the Arabic, because I'm having a bit of a difficulty. I tried to join the other day with Dr. Mohammed the session, but it was all in Arabic, and communication from the school for the Arabic classes, it's always in Arabic from the teacher, from the newsletter. So, and I apologize, but I cannot read the Arabic. So it's a bit hard for me, because I want to support my daughter to speak Arabic. So I would like to know a bit, how can I support her? And I saw, for example, there's a homework group help for the elementary, but I don't know if this will also be applied to the KG level? And just one last thing is like, when will kids start swimming? And that's it.
Okay, so yes, we just addressed the swimming.
Okay.
So
All right.
just very quickly, we're working on a health and safety plan that will meet regulations. And then I will, ECAs are already underway, and we also discussed that about what they'll look like in the coming remainder of the term on maybe a condensed Thursday. And then I will let Dr. Mohammed address the Arabic, but in our weekly newsletter, it is in Arabic and in English, but perhaps you're referencing the Arabic teacher's message, but I'll let Dr. Mohammed reference it quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm sorry for that day, yes, because it was in Arabic, but for KG in Arabic lessons, we teach all kids Arabic A and B in same lesson, same amount of time. And I believe this is very important, so students can learn more and can also mix with other students and learn. So basically what we are learning in KG, we just learning the letters and basic things and learning in a fun way. So this should not be a problem in KG and KG2. And this is also, I was in different school doing same thing. For homework, we didn't start homework yet because for KG will be starting, I think, next term. So I don't think there's any problem with that, but if you have any concern about your child, you can communicate with Ms. Lamia or with me to follow up and give you more details. And for homework later on, if you need more explaining in English, we could do that for your child. So the teacher will send you more details in English for what you need to do. And Miss Lamia is with us now. She's the head of Arabic. She can follow up with you on how's your child doing. And later on, if you want, we can send the homework with details in English for what your child need to do.
Okay.
Can you please just leave your phone number or email so I can connect with you? Okay.
Okay, I will leave in the conversation in the chat.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Ms. Khadija, you have your hand up.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I just would like to raise one small concern, is that when sending out homeworks, it gets a bit confusing where we should track our homeworks on which platform exactly, because sometimes we get like newsletter on email, and then some homeworks are sent on class CISO, some are announced on the family CISO. So I would really appreciate if you can clarify which method you will be sending through or where you will be sending out the homeworks. And I believe if you have all the English subject homeworks maybe in one newsletter as it's sent now, and then one in Arabic, that will give us a summary of what homeworks are sent and where we should be able to find them. If you can clarify this part to everyone, because like even when I discuss with some mothers, they also have this confusion. And that's it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your feedback on that. And to answer your question, Ashley, and Sarah's in the chat about homework, we have gotten a lot of feedback about wanting to have notebooks at home and kind of platform usage. So right now we're working really hard on a plan for the next half term to make sure we have some kind of implementation of a book going home to allow students to practice what they're learning in the books. Regarding Seesaw, so what happens is you get a PDF on Seesaw, and that PDF gives you the spelling words, and it tells you to see Seesaw for the activity. So on Seesaw right now is our prime place for homework for the students to complete an activity of learning that's happened in the classroom. It will never be new content. It'll be just something for them to practice, and that's going home. However, we have gotten feedback about, I'm kind of confused about exact path, about kind of Seesaw. So we're working on a plan right now to integrate both, and we're going to have some information coming out after half term to make it a little bit more solid. But I really appreciate your feedback on that.
So there is a question in the chat box about bus timing for pickup is too early. Is there any plan to change it? So we're currently working with our bus provider, STS, to make sure that we're continually enhancing the quality of the service. So you're aware where Dubai Schools Barsha is located, you'll appreciate that we're near many other schools. And what happens is that the traffic and the congestion between a window, say of 7:20 to 8:15, is very intensive. And so if the buses came any later, it would really delay our students getting to school well after 8 o'clock. What we have done, though, is that we've instructed the bus provider to make a target to get to school by 7:40 or 7:45. And so that's adding about 20 minutes delay in the pickup time. So it is a start, but as a policy that the bus company has communicated is that, you know, travel time should be about anywhere from an hour and 20 minutes tops. So that is within the window of travel time. But I do understand and empathize that some of our younger students are getting picked up too early, and we are working to continually improve the service. So when we return from the half term, we hope to see some of those improvements. Okay.
Shama, you have a question?
Hi again. I have another question that I forgot to say. It's regarding the I Read Arabic application. I'm facing a problem that the application itself crashes so many times. So what happens is that I deleted it, then reinstalled it again, but it's still I'm facing the same. I tried on my iPhone, I tried on a tablet, and always it's crashing. So I don't know, maybe there is a problem with that application.
Well, we can do, Ms. Lamia, you can respond with any kind of IT issues like that. We have an email address, and actually we'll put it in the chat for you. You can email IT at any time with any kind of issues with e-learning platforms. If you email them your concern, they'll reach out to you with the solution to support. And Ms. Lamia, you can add on, of course.
Yeah, okay. Sarah, just please, I would like to ask the parent to send me an email or just your phone number. I will call you and get information and contact with the company, and we'll solve it immediately. So no problem. Okay, just let me know, or the teacher to know. Things will be fine. Okay, thanks.
Okay. And again, feel free to raise your hand should you have a question or comment. I'm looking in the chat box, and I'm seeing a question that says, in previous school, we had a voluntary What's Up parent group for each class. Is there plans to do that? It's actually quite tricky. I appreciate that you've put the word voluntary because parents would have to actively choose to join such a group. Parents that don't, though, somehow get left out of the communication, which isn't equitable. So what we would instead prefer is that we use the relevant channels. We use Seesaw for messaging. Eventually, when the child's ThinkWave account is having grades and the school report put into it, there's also communication channel there. And of course, your direct email to your class teacher or SLT. So we will not be using WhatsApp as a mode of communication for those reasons stated. Sarah, there's a question about Seesaw, maybe in the chat box. Can homework be sent as usual in Seesaw, but writing in a notebook because it's difficult in iPad, they will not learn writing well?
Yeah, that's what I addressed earlier with Sarah, and actually that's such a good point and fair feedback. So as we're looking at this rollout, just to tweak homework to make it better, that's one of the main components we're looking at, is to ensure that they have something to consolidate their learning in a book at home. So that's great feedback.
Okay, and also with respect to trying to get registered on the STS app, could you please make sure that you leave your email in the chat box, and we will make sure that urgently someone responds to you. Dr. Mohammed, there's a question about Arabic as well. Please, can you provide us with writing books for Arabic?
Yes, for Arabic, I already informed the parents when I met with them. They can answer on the books, and I'll be working with the team to provide some books. I'm not sure about the availability now, but I think we will work on that after the half term to give a homework books for students to do the work on the notebooks.
Okay, Dr. Muhammad, just I have an addition regarding the writing. They can write on any paper and just take a photo or send it with the children. It's fine. Just write on a paper or on a sheet and send it. Thank you.
Okay, are there, oh, we have another comment. Okay, there's a question, will there be ECA for KG1 and will it include sport and foreign language? Sarah, maybe you want to respond to that.
Absolutely. So right now we actually do have sports as a part of our ECA program for KG, and ECA programs are a little bit different for KG because right now, as Dr. Joe said, we're looking for it to go during the day so everyone has the opportunity from 1 to 4. However, in KG, what we're looking at is after school, while until the next, because students dismiss a little bit earlier in KG, they have ECAs. And so we have things that are very engaging and hands-on, like splat art, sports. However, we don't have language. We do language practice. So for example, one of our areas is play-based learning to encourage and support students in the development of English language and Arabic language. However, right now at this stage, we're not going to offer Mandarin or anything more complex because we really want our students to develop and have a solid foundation in Arabic and English. But that's great feedback. I appreciate it.
Okay, we have just a few more minutes left in this morning coffee session. Are there any other questions or comments while we are together?
There's a question in Arabic about the I read, so I'm going to answer it in Arabic. تقريبا الآن انتهينا من تحديد مستويات القراءة لدى الطلاب، وبالتالي إن شاء الله بعد العطلة سنعطي كل طالب المستوى الذي يتناسب معه، ومسلمية ستتابع هذا أيضا مع المدرسين حتى يحصل كل طالب على المستوى المناسب له. من نادية.
Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I just wanted to ask, is there any possibility for us to maybe have like a video recorded of how the teachers teach specific lessons, like for example in English or in Arabic classes, just so I would know the method that's being used in class, and maybe I could use the same way with helping my child in catching up at home?
That's great feedback. So to kind of give you a little bit of background, me and the head of elementary at Murdoch are going to get together, and we're going to be looking to start some parent workshops to talk about how we do teaching and learning in the classroom. But that's a really, really great point that you said. You know, we want to make sure the consolidation and learning at home, if we learn addition a certain way in school, we want to make sure it's done at home. So I'll get that feedback to the teachers, and we'll look at Seesaw having those videos to support you with any kind of homework going out. And yeah, that's great feedback. Thank you so much.
Miss Nadia, I see you had your hand up but then lowered it. Was your question answered?
Yes, it was answered. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, Miss Manal.
Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, everyone. I just have a concern about the operator phone because actually my place of working is too far from the school, and if I have any concern, any question, it takes me a lot of time to get an answer from the operator or from the I don't know if it is like a call center to answer. I might call 2 or 3 times to get the answer or to somebody to pick up the phone.
Ms. Manol, are you referencing the school or the bus provider? I didn't quite catch
The
that.
school.
Okay, so that's a very good point, and it's an
Yeah.
area that we've identified within our survey so that you're aware. We're upgrading the phone system in the school so that when you call in, you will get a menu of options, whether you want to speak to finance or the receptionist or the nurse. And then we're also having a facility where if the phones are busy, you will be placed on hold until someone can take your call. So that system is being set up, and you should see improvement there from the return of the half break.
I hope if they can pick up the operator at least earlier, because sometimes I have a concern or I have a question to just make sure about some issues. And the other thing, do you have a social, I don't know if they call it a social worker for the kids, so we can contact you if we have any issue with the kids individually? It's not like an academic way, but if we need some more help with their speech or their behavior or something, if we can have their contacts.
Absolutely. So we do have a counselor, Miss Miriam, and Miss Miriam is actually on Seesaw. So when you go to Seesaw, you can actually reach out to message her, as well as we'll share Miss Naz. If you can put her email address in the chat, you can always contact her. However, with behavior in the classroom, the first point of contact would be the teacher. So if you have any concerns about behavior or anything in the class, the teacher is going to be your first form of contact. And then from there, if anything kind of escalates to the counselor will reach out. But you also, as a parent, can reach out to Miss Miriam anytime you want. Manal, if I can just have you put your contact information in the chat, I'd be more than happy to reach out to kind of get a little more information.
Sure, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, so I believe, Dana, you have one more question, and this will be the last question for the session. Again, I encourage you, if you have a question that you feel wasn't answered, please type in the chat box in English or Arabic, and we'll make sure that we send out an FAQ. Go ahead, Dana, with the last question before we end the session.
Assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Good morning.
Actually, I have two questions. One question is regarding the Arabic department, maybe I can say. When I'm trying to contact the teacher through CISO, the teacher of, not the class, the teacher of Arabic, to see, like, for example, to ask about how progress as my son is doing, what kind of support I can give him, I'm not having any reply on that one. And the other thing about, for example, if the kid gets sick and he have a running nose or cold, regarding of the COVID protocol, do we need to make for him PCR test and we bring a report with a negative result, or no need for that one? Because this is a question I was asking that one many times, and I'm not able to have any answer for that one also.
Okay, so pertaining to anything related to COVID, there are clear guidelines. The only time that we would ask that a child take a COVID test would be in line with what the relevant authorities have asked us to follow. So what those circumstances may be would be if your family traveled out of the country and then returned, you would be expected to take a PCR before returning to school. Another circumstance, of course, would be, God forbid, your child fell with COVID, which then would, require a quarantine and a Department of Health clearance form. Generally, that comes after 10 days. And then, of course, if your child is a direct contact with somebody in the home or community, we would follow the guidelines for quarantine and then ask for a PCR upon return. I'm just mindful that we have the grade 2, 3, and 4 parents coming in a few minutes. Those of you that are joining us, if you're joining for the 9 o'clock meeting, if you just would hang on for 5 minutes and we'll get started with the presentation again. Those of you that joined us for the 8:20 presentation, it is now concluded. Again, you're welcome to stay on the call and put any questions in. But if you have now just joined us for the 9 o'clock, just give us 5 minutes and we'll get started. if you're from the morning 8:20 session, you're free to leave now. Maybe Dr. Mohammed, you want to repeat that?
طبعا هناك ورشة أو لقاء مع طلاب الصف الثالث والرابع، وسيبدأ الساعة 9. من يريد أن يضع أي سؤال بإمكانه أن يفعل ذلك الآن، وسنتواصل معكم أيضا. I will just answer some questions in Arabic on the chat, and the question about the CISO quickly. So I will use Arabic to answer faster. For the Arabic, okay. لأذكار الصباح نحن نقوم بفعل ذلك يوميا مع قراءة القرآن. يعني هي في الصفوف جميعها المدرس يقرأ عبر تيمز، وهناك طالب يقرأ القرآن بشكل مستمر، وكذلك هناك حث على الصلاة. بالنسبة للمدرس الذي لا يجيب على السيسو، أتمنى أن تضعي رقم التواصل الخاص بك أو اسم ابنك، ومس لميا ستتابع ذلك مع المدرس. عادة نحن نعطي المدرسين بعض الوقت لأن هناك الكثير من الأسئلة حول أو من الأهالي، وكذلك الكثير من الواجبات التي تحتاج إلى تصحيح. بالنسبة للسؤال عن الواجب، في الحقيقة الواجب وضعناه بهذا الشكل حتى نعطي المدرسين فرصة ليقوموا بتصحيح الأسئلة خلال الفترة من نهاية يوم الأحد حتى الثلاثاء، موعد إرسال الواجب التالي، لأن كل مدرس لديه أكثر من 100 طالب، وليس كمدرس الصف فقط لديه 25 طالبا.
Okay, so we're going to take a 3-minute pause. And again, if you're just joining us for the 9 o'clock meeting, we'll start shortly. If you joined at the 8:20 meeting for KG1 to grade 1, you're welcome to stay on should you feel that you would like to do so, but we are now concluded, and thank you so much for attending. Otherwise, we will start at 9 promptly. Thank you.